So we're here at the carpet weaving. Is that what it's referred to as?
It is referred to as carpet weaving, and we're now at a place called Nakash Ephesus. That's the name of the store that we have located close to Ephesus.
Tell us about the history of carpet weaving.
Carpet weaving is very, very important in the history of Turkish culture. You find that even today in the more conservative parts of the country, if a lady cannot weave rugs, she'll have difficulty getting married. It's one of the criteria men look for. It's a sign of a lady who's had a good upbringing, and it shows that she is educated well enough. This is, of course, in the more conservative parts of the country, but it goes back about 2,500 years.
What makes a great carpet weaver?
A great carpet weaver needs patience, tenacity, and perseverance. Because patience is one of the criteria that determine whether or not she becomes a good weaver or not. And of course, this is like playing a musical instrument. You either got it or you haven't got it. Some ladies are good, some ladies are not so good. So it just depends on the individual.
And how long would it normally take from the beginning to the end to create a carpet? I know it would depend on the size, obviously.
Of course, this depends on the size of the rug, the number of knots. But if we're talking about a wool 6x4 wool rug, we'd be looking at about a month and a half to 2 months work. Of course, the higher the number of knots, the longer time it'll take to make.
Can we take a closer look?
Of course.
Okay.
By all means. In Turkey, all handmade rugs are made the same way.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm saying is, if the carpet in question is large, the loom they're made on is large. If the carpet in question is silk, instead of using wool, we use silk. The technique of weaving does not change.
I see.
We use what is known as the world-famous double knotting technique in this country. And the double knotting technique simply refers to the type of knotting technique that we use in this country. What she does is she takes two vertical threads, separates them with her fingers. I tell them, the wool, this is a wool rug, goes around the first, over and around the second.
Wow.
That's called the double knot because it goes around the two vertical threads. They bring the two ends together, pull that down, break that off. That is one double knot.
Wow.
Every knot is put in one by one. When they have a row of knots, they then use heavy combs like these to make the knots sit tighter on top of one another. Vur bakalım. Yeter. Now, the reason why we do the combing is because the more number of knots means the finer the carpet.
I see.
But if you notice, I just said something very important. You're probably not aware of this. If you notice, I said more number of knots means a finer rug.
Yes.
I did not say more number of knots means a better rug.
Oh, I see.
Finer and better, there's a difference.
There's a difference. What is the difference?
Well, name me the most expensive car you can think of.
Rolls Royce.
Would you buy a Rolls Royce if you wanted to go off-road?
No. Okay, makes sense.
Finer and better are completely different things. Finer means the number of knots. Better, the best is the one you like the most.
Wow.
That may not be the finest, but if it's what you like, that's the best.
So this is the pattern she's creating, obviously. It's in front of her, correct?
Yeah, Emin has been with us for a very long time. She's been weaving rugs here at Nakash Carpets for the last 20 years.
Wow.
The design is on graph paper. Each square corresponds to a knot, but if she's experienced, this design is memorized.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
wow.
Think of your nomadic person that lives out in the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
They don't have access to graph paper.
Yes, yes.
It's all in the mind of the individual.
Wow.
She'll follow a set pattern. Each square corresponds to a knot, like I said.
Do you mind if I wait until it's completed?
You got about 3 years? She's working on a wool rug. If you wish, let me show you the loom of a silk rug being made. Would you like to come through this way?
We'd love to see it.
Come through this way. Now, this is a silk rug. As I said, silk rugs are made in exactly the same way as the wool rugs, with one important difference.
What is that?
Silk has many more number of knots.
Okay.
The reason for that is silk, you know, as a material, is much finer than wool. Kes bakalım şunu. Now, finer material means we need more knots to cover the same area. The rug that she's working on in wool had 90 knots per square inch. The carpet that she's working on now averages 645 knots to the square inch.
Wow, big difference.
She needs a month and a half to make a wool in a 3x5 in feet. To make the same size rug in silk, she now needs 8 months' work.
Wow.
And this is the only reason why, relatively speaking, silk rugs take or cost more money. Not because of silk, as a lot of people tend to think, but because of time.
Gotcha.
The technique of weaving is exactly the same.
Got it. Got it.
And also, an interesting fact about silk, you know how silk appears to be very soft and fragile?
Right.
On the contrary, please note, this is important, silk is the second strongest natural material in the world.
I didn't know that.
Do you know what the strongest is?
No.
Spider's web.
Spider's web.
In other words, silk rugs you can walk on. Silk is much stronger than wool. The problem with walking on silk is that because it takes much longer to make, it costs a little bit more.
I see.
And the average person sometimes feels a little bit uncomfortable about walking on a rug which costs as much as it does.
Got you. Makes sense.
It's like buying an expensive car and not driving it.
Yep.
That's what it's made for.
There you go.
The size of the rug that she's working on, that's too small for the floor. That's more like a wall hanging.
I see.
But when you start looking at silk rugs, 8 by 10, 9 by 12 in feet, that's too big for the wall. That's definitely for the floor.
For the floor.
So silk you can walk on if you can justify walking on it.
Okay.
That's a question the buyer has to answer. Now, of course, I'm generalizing when I say this, but you'd be surprised today at the number of people who like to wear silk, but who actually think that it grows like cotton does.
Right.
Cotton is from plant. It's a cellulose. This is from an animal. It's a protein. This is a cocoon made by the silkworm.
Wow.
A silkworm is basically a caterpillar, and when it reaches a certain maturity, it secretes a saliva, which in actual fact is the silk. With this secretion, it makes a cocoon around itself, and after spending about 12 days within the cocoon, it pierces this and it comes out as a moth.
Wow.
The moth lays the eggs, which hatch back into silkworms. Now, it might be interesting for you to know that from an average cocoon like this, we can get a thread of silk which can be as long as 1,200 yards.
Wow. Wow.
How do we unravel the silk? We first have to catch the thread. We put them into water, which is heated from the bottom, and by using very sophisticated machinery like this, very high tech,
What do you call that, by the way?
just a simple brush.
A simple brush, okay.
Watch what happens. She simply dabs the cocoons, and by doing so, you can see she has in fact caught the threads.
Oh, wow.
Now she has a pleasant job of trying to untangle them. You think we're going to be here all
Yeah,
day?
yeah, yeah,
Watch
yeah.
carefully, and voila. See the threads?
Wow.
Now, let's watch her set this up, and then I'll tell you what's going to happen.
Phenomenal.
Back there. Now, please watch my hand. Can you see the threads sitting over my hand?
Yes.
We get the silk filaments from an average of 25 to 30 cocoons. We bring them together to obtain one thread, which is then spun onto the wheel. That wheel is going to rotate. As it is rotating, watch my hand.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
See them running
Yeah.
over my hand?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can see them bobbing up and down.
Yeah,
They're the ones
yeah.
being unraveled.
Yeah.
Okay, now you may not believe this, but each one of those threads coming off a cocoon is over 1,200 yards.
Wow.
And what is being spun onto the wheel is the silk coming off the cocoon.
Oh, my goodness.
And what that on the wheel is silk, and what that is this. If I may ask you to touch that, when you do, you're in for a big disappointment.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like silk.
No, it
It's
doesn't.
like horsehair.
Yes.
This is what we call raw silk.
Raw silk. Okay.
How do we get this to become like the silk that we know? We put this back into water, and this time we boil it in water, after which this then becomes this. Now,
Ah,
please
there you
let
go.
me
Now
show
you're
the
talking.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
This now is ready to be used in the making of a silk rug.
Wow.
That's how the silk is obtained.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness, look at this. Don't let my wife in here. I say 2 or 3 rugs she would buy right away.
And you'd be surprised at how quickly I can have them wrapped up for him.
I'm sure.
Here at Nakash Ephesus, we have 12 showrooms like this,
12.
with about 6,000 rugs.
Wow.
Rugs from all different parts of the country, in all sizes, in all colors, in all density of knots. Where there is a will, there is a way. If there is a desire, I'm sure we have the one that you like. This is allow my colleague to show us a beautiful tribal example
Okay.
in wool
Oh.
with a symbolic tree of life
Wow.
in the middle. Very simple, geometric designs, but very colorful, very vibrant. A beautiful work of art that we can walk on
Together.
together.
There we go. Feels good.
You should try it with barefoot.
It feels real good. You gonna roll it the same way?
Now, Bekle, I want to show you one of the characteristics of a very fine silk rug.
Okay.
But first, allow my colleague to unroll it. Okay.
Wow.
Now, back there. Now, look at the colors on that rug. He's going to turn that rug around. Watch what happens.
Look at the shine and look at the variation as he rotates it.
The shift in color is because of the directional pile that it has. It's like the green on a golf course. One side reflects the light,
Wow.
one side absorbs the light, one side is not darker.
Fantastic.
It's almost like getting 2 rugs for the price of one.
There you go. Do you charge double for that? Or?
No, we don't. The other side comes for free. In fact, if you count the back, 3.
3, there you go. Okay.
That side,
oh,
that
it's
side.
back. You can back it up. Okay.
Well, it's almost as good as the front because of the high density of nuts.
There you go. You should be in sales, by the way.